I think I pressed the record button. Oh, there we go. Great. Okay. So when I give you the link, it'll bring you to this screen, which is the log-on, sign-on screen for the IES web services.
John, can you share your screen, John? You're not sharing yet.
Okay. It's probably a good idea, huh? So let me do this.
Yeah, might as well.
Okay. So when I send you the link, this is the screen that you'll come to. It's the sign-on screen for the IES web services portal. You'll be putting your username and password here. The one that will supply you will go here. You click on sign on, and that will bring you to this case selection screen. Now, when I pull this bar down, you're going to see a lot of them because this is my login, but you will only see the cases that you're assigned to, and you can see that we are in beta here because we accidentally put premium instead of Premiere, but that's already been fixed on the production side. And then you come to the search screen. So if you had a pre-populated census, or if you were coming in to go work on someone who had previously been entered, you can search here, and it uses the Google style search screen. So as you start to enter a criteria for searching, it starts to recommend things to you. So I have it set for last name, and I'll just type T because I've already created a enrollment so that you don't have to watch me type all those fields in. So I just click on the one that I'm looking for, and it'll take me to that record. If I was creating a new one, I would click this add button. It will bring me to the exact same place, except all the fields would be empty instead of populated, as I'm going to show you now.
And this one, we're going to need to be adding each employee, right, William?
Correct.
Correct. Because the census data, we didn't even have, a lot of it didn't even have names, anything whatsoever. So it really wouldn't have saved you any time either.
Right. So it's like any other form. You just fill in all the fields. The date fields have a calendar that pops up, but you don't have to use it. If you want the calendar, if the field is blank and you want the calendar, you just click in it, and the calendar will come up. If the field is populated and you don't want the calendar, you can click in the front of the field, and then you can just free type. These are all the demographic information that we collect for an enrollee, for an employee.
Do you mind if I ask a quick question?
No, go ahead. Ask away.
Height and weight, is that required by 5-star? And do you know if that is? And if it's not, is that something that we could turn off? I mean, it's not a huge deal, but not always the most comfortable question.
So I don't know the answer to the question. If it's required, I don't believe it is. And as of right today, we cannot turn it off. We are working on a major update to this software where we're going to make most of these fields manageable. Right now, they are not, so we cannot turn them off. But you could put any data in them, including 1 foot, 1 inch, 10 pounds. It'll take it.
I guess the big question, Garrett, we would need to find out is if those questions are going to be asked in the 5-star modules, and if they are, then we don't need to answer them here.
Okay. Yeah, it's not a big deal. I mean, if they're required, they're required in this area anyways. And then the other one, like employee ID, I'm guessing we'll probably just be making some stuff up for that one.
Correct.
Because these are all just 1099 employees, so we'll just tell them to put in something until it works.
Yeah, none of those fields are going to be required either. We can set certain fields to be required, but those don't have to be required. Correct, John?
Oh, okay.
So right now we can't manage these fields at all, but very shortly we'll be able to. So for right now, you just have to fill in the ones that it asks you to fill in. Like this one is not a required field, and I think there's a couple of others. But for right now, we can't do too much with this. So the idea here was that we wanted to get all the demographic information for a particular employee done in the front of the enrollment. So we're not asking the same questions twice, or so to make sure we capture all the information. So now the question that you asked has been coming up kind of regularly. So in the next iteration of this software, in the 2.7.0 version of the software, these fields will be manageable, except for the ones that you obviously have to have all the time: name, address, date of birth, social security number.
Okay. And then one last question: is it going to check for? I'm thinking about employee ID specifically. Is it checking that against other employee records already in the system to make sure that doesn't match? Because
yes,
it is. Okay. So each council is going to have to just make up a unique ID for each employee then.
Yeah, if you type enough numbers, you're almost guaranteed to come up unique.
Sure, I was because it's inevitably going to come up. How come the employee ID is not working? So that way I have my answer. So.
So if the employee knows their ID, by the way, they can put it in there.
I don't think they have employee IDs because they're all 1099 real estate agents. So I don't think they
got it.
have one. Yeah.
Okay.
Would the social security number work there, or would it knock it out there too? Like if I just copied and pasted that in there, would that work?
Yep.
Okay, that's what we'll do then. All right, perfect.
So
I've started
moving
the SSN, Garrett.
I'm sorry. Will,
no, he's saying, can you? Well, what he was saying is, if he wanted to create a unique number, he could copy this and put it right here.
Yeah.
And
okay.
I don't know if it'll take the dashes.
Gotcha.
I've never tried that.
So they could just type in. I mean, it worked anyways. All right, perfect.
Right. I mean, you could type really anything.
Yeah.
So this is where you enter dependents, and you can see if I've already created a dependent, son, Mike here, and so you just type in the fields as always. And then once you have all these fields populated, you can click Save. And that will save the record in this little table down here. And if you have to edit any of this information, you can click Edit. It'll repopulate the table up here. And you can make a change, and you can save it. So just as an aside, anytime you do something like that, if you've changed something that you've previously entered and it was saved in the system, basically every time you type the button Save or you type the button Next, the information that you've just entered gets saved into the database. If you then go back and change it, we are recording that. So every single change that happens on every single field throughout the whole process is being recorded in the background, so we can see, if we have to, what was changed and when it was changed and by whom.
Garrett, one reason why we did that also was just for the ease of re-enrollments as well. So it'll be really nice if we do come across a re-enrollment on year 2 for a track changes report.
Yeah, we like that. That's a really cool feature.
Right.
Yeah, we thought so. I was really excited. That was one of my first questions at IES, because you and I both know re-enrollments can be literally hell. So that's why I love that, that on year 2, when you're coming along and maybe doing a passive, not an active enrollment, it really, really helps. So yeah, we're excited about that.
Additionally, it does give you, kind of a Ben admin light product to leave behind.
Yeah.
So let me run you by a couple of these products. So here's the accident product. And when you come in here, you pull down the who's going to be covered. box. We'll do spouse. Now, in this case, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's only level 2 being offered, so that's all that will show up when you pull down. It instantly puts the premium here, and then at this point, if the employee wants to move forward, we have to click the I'm actively at work radio button, or if they don't, you can click I waive coverage, and that will give us the ability to show the people who looked at this and stopped here, assumingly it's usually about a premium at that point. You notice that right on the screen we have some of the most salient points about this particular product, so that the agent and the employee can have something to look at and, you know, maybe have a conversation about, maybe help the agent remember what the benefits of this particular product are. If when they go through this, there are more questions or they want to elaborate more, you can click down on this brochure button. That will pop up the full brochure for the product and give more detail. And then if the employee said, hey, can I have that brochure? If we've properly populated this email address, you can just click this send mail button and this brochure will be emailed to the employee directly.
Yeah, that was when Will was showing me, when Will was demoing that, then that's one of the things I liked a lot, was just the ability to just send this stuff directly to the employees.
Yeah.
Not only is it convenient, but it's very green.
Yeah. Garrett, also remember, you can do multiple emails in that field as well, just separate them with a comma.
Right. You click next. And this is where you enter beneficiary information. So you click this add button, and then this is the add beneficiary screen, and we've pre-populated this pull down with all the dependents. So you don't have to type them again if it's going to be a dependent. If it's not, you can just click add new and fill in the boxes. It keeps track of, if you do more than one primary, it keeps track of the percentage until you get to 100 and doesn't allow you to pass it. And if the employee chooses themselves as the beneficiary, it automatically makes this beneficiary the estate. Once you've gotten that completed, you can click next. That brings you to the disclaimer. Now, depending on what size screen you may have, what size computer you're working on, not this one because it's really short, but if this disclaimer takes up more than one page, more than one screen full, the system makes you scroll to the bottom before this accept button comes on. So scroll to the bottom, click accept. If the person reads the disclaimer, if the employee reads the disclaimer and says, hey, can I have that? Just click the send mail button and the disclaimer will be emailed directly to them. Once you're done with the disclaimer page, you can click accept. And then that brings us to the e-sign page. And the criteria for e-signing is the first 4 digits of the person's last name, last 4 of social security number, and month and day of birth, which gets to be kind of burdensome if you have to keep asking over and over. So all the information that you need to e-sign this application for the employee is right down here. So here's the employee's last name.
Yeah, that was a nice feature they put in, Garrett, I thought. So you have all that information right there on the lower bar to e-sign, so you don't have to go back into the system.
No, I like that a lot. That's huge.
Yep. Yep. You can tell.
There's the email. And then, so that's at last 4 of social, and then month and day of birth. And then obviously the agent has to sign. So the agent will use their IES username as in username, and then whatever writing number they have for 5-star.
which Michelle, I just talked with Michelle Garrett, or excuse me, John Montecavo, and she'll be sending those over within 10-15 minutes.
Okay, awesome.
Yep. So we got all those agent IDs taken care of. So really, pretty much all that will be finished here shortly.
So I need to mention at this point that just yesterday, 5-Star told us that they have a different writing number for the FPP product than the other two products. So what we've done is built a table in the background, and we're going to have the agents put in their the one writing number that we give them, and then we have built a table in the background to fix it, because otherwise we wouldn't be able to get it done in time. So we'll tell you what writing number to put here every single time, and then we'll fix the writing numbers in the background for the actual extract file.
Okay, that works. Appreciate that. Yeah, because we have you on mute, but when you said that they had two different writing numbers for each agent, then I had a little cursing going on mute. And then so that's good.
So you're at the end of the enrollment for the first product, and what you see here is the accident. Here's the effective date of that policy, and the people associated with it, and some beneficiary information. I'll tell you more about this benefit summary in a couple of minutes. But so that's the accident policy. The HI policy operates exactly the same. Let's just do number for this one, and number 2. And again, waive out or agree to the fact that you work at least 20 hours per week. Same thing applies here. You can click this brochure and see the full brochure for this product. Once you are done here, you can click next. I think they just told me recently that this product doesn't require a beneficiary. We're trying to get rid of it so you don't see this page. Again, this is the disclaimer, and the same thing holds true here. You can send the email directly to the employee, press accept, come here and do this e-sign. So while I'm right here, I'll tell you that everyone asks this question: why can't I put them all in and then e-sign all of them at once? And that's because most carriers prohibit that. So we
that's
left it
typical on every platform. I'm sure you've seen that, Garrett, before, obviously.
Yeah, we're used to that.
Yep.
Yeah, so we gave you the information down here. It's the best thing that we could possibly have, best solution we could come up with. So now you can see as you drill down, we have two products. Oh, I'm glad.
Yeah,
and then we'll just.
I've seen a lot of platforms. That's better than most. A lot of people don't think of going that far, so that's good.
So we'll run through this FPP product. So I'll tell you that again, right at the end of this conversation, we ran into a little snag here, and that is that there was money purchase GI criteria that didn't get either understood by us or communicated to us right at the time that we were doing this. And so there's a little problem with the money purchase. So we're going to ask agents to only enroll this by benefit amount until we can find a solution for the GI issue.
Okay.
So I guess the GI issue is that it tops out at $11 or $12 a week, and we didn't know that, and we were basing the GI on the benefit amount that was calculated from the money purchase amount.
Yeah.
So, and that's not the way 5-Star wants it. So we're going to ask agents to just do this by benefit, by direct benefit for this enrollment. And then the system is now asking what benefit amount you'd like. So we'll go way down here. And so now the system has populated whatever questions need to be asked based upon the criteria set out by 5-Star for these two people to have this product. And you can notice that some questions are only being asked of Mary, others are being asked of both. Some are just going to be asked of the employee. And some questions may generate other questions. So this best laid plans of men here was to make this enrollment go a little faster. So if this question needed to be answered by the employee, spouse, and 5 children, you would have to click 5 times in here to answer the same question, especially if it was all the same answer. So when it says set all answers to, it means set all answers for question 1 for this question to either yes or no. So in this case, there are only 1. So I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no for Mary. And in this question, it's no for everybody. So if I click this, it'll click no for everybody. Same thing is happening here. It's clicking no for everyone. No. No.
And it's asking these questions based on what the GI level is?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, these are the questions that they.
Yeah, and Dan knows a little bit more about the product design than I do. I haven't looked at it, but so 60,000 is over the guaranteed issue then for this person.
No, it's at 100. So there are more questions when you get above 100.
Okay. So how many questions does a person have to answer to get to 60,000 in this case? I'm assuming that if you started with Q1 and you're at Q23, that seems to be 23 questions so far.
No, they skip.
Or do you skip?
No, actually it isn't. The questions are numbered in the system consecutively. You see 1, 2, 3, 14, and it might be in this case. No, see, so there's 19 and there's no 21 and 20, 21 and 22.
Okay.
There's no 16. So the questions are numbered in the system, and that's how we're asking them. When it's above the GI, I'm not going to lie to you. When you're above the GI, there's a lot of questions. But that's how 5-Star set it up. People ask me that all the time because they're used to seeing it on a paper application. It's just check, 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 check. And now when you see them kind of in a row, it seems like a lot. But I can guarantee you that it won't take you long to answer them all.
Yeah, it's just a matter of getting accustomed to it. The very first time, I'm sure it might be slower, but like any enrollment, once you've done it a few times, you'll be able to speed through the process. And most importantly, it's just a matter of getting familiar. By chance, are you guys going to have like a test employee or something that we can work on to get my benefit counselors ready for this?
We're going to give all your benefit counselors their own username and password to the beta software so they can go in and play with it all if they want between now and whenever you start. And you'll be getting those later on today or at the very worst tomorrow.
Okay.
So I'll be handing them off to Will, and then Will will get them to you.
Okay, perfect.
So if you miss a question, it's going to tell you, a box will open and say, you didn't answer question 15. So if you come down to question 15 and answer it,
and John, they'll be able to add in test employees once they get their username and password, correct?
Correct. Yep. They can do all they want.
Okay. Just making sure. Yeah.
So what's happening right now is that one question didn't get answered. I answered it, and that asked me another question, so that question wasn't answered. But as you do this enrollment, you'll automatically know what questions need to be answered, and you won't see that. It won't be so cumbersome. So I'm just going to add a couple of beneficiaries here.
John, what was that quote button that was at the bottom of that screen? Is that anything that we need to worry about?
Oh, no, I should show you that, but just let me do
nice
that.
Functionality. You'll like this.
Yeah. Let me go back.
And then, since this is guaranteed issue, are any of these considered, do you have them built in as actual knockout questions, or is this just all going to go to 5-star for processing?
If it's a knockout question, it will knock you out. If it's a knockout, if there's a question that, by answering it makes you go under the GI. So if, let's say you went in and said 140,000, but answering this question disqualifies you from being above the guaranteed issue limit, it will automatically give you a message and send you back to put a new benefit amount. Yeah. So it won't let you do anything wrong.
Okay.
So the system is checking you all the way wrong.
So it is. So there is going to be no EOI beyond this initial enrollment. Then it's all going to be. They're going to know after this enrollment whether or not they qualified for above guaranteed issue.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Yep. Perfect.
Yep.
Okay.
So this quote button, if you click it, will bring you back. Will bring you back to the product selection screen. You notice that the status of this is now quoted instead of ready to submit. So basically what's happened here is the employee has said, I'm not 100% sure, I might not, I need to walk away, my break is over, or whatever excuse they're giving to walk away from the enrollment. All quoted does is capture all the stuff that you've already entered about that employee and stops the enrollment. So now when you come back in here, everything that you had previously entered is still here, including the answer to all the questions. So you can just continue the enrollment from that point on.
So it's basically like an interrupt button then.
Yeah.
Pause.
Okay. Got it. Okay,
it's
good
nice
enough.
Because it saves all the tracking and what they're doing, so it is nice. This is for a time saver.
So on this disclaimer page, I just want to alert you that if you're on a smaller screen than mine, I have a 24-inch monitor, this disclaimer might scrunch down so that it's longer than a page. And you notice there are 2 scroll bars here. In order to make this you have to pull this inside one all the way down before you can see this accept button. So you'll see that I kind of made this second scroll bar come on because of my screen. But you have to pull this all the way down. And probably you'll have to pull this one all the way down too to see the accept button. So I'm alerting you to the fact that there are 2 scroll bars. You have to pull them all the way down. So if you're looking at this accept button and it's white and it won't come blue for you, then you got to come over, look at these scroll bars and scroll them all the way down. And then this accept button will come on. Again, we're going to sign this. So while I'm doing this, I'll tell you that whenever I build a new case like this, I have someone pretend to be an employee, and I see how long it takes me to do an enrollment. And on this one, it hasn't taken me more than 5 minutes.
Okay. For all 3 products or per product?
For all 3 products. Now, that's not a real live test because the person who's answering questions for me is not also asking questions to me, right? So it's a little bit disingenuous, but when I just type them by myself, I just keep typing and filling in fields and keep going, it's under 3 minutes.
Okay.
And I tell you that because right here, we are timing how long you are with this employee. And every time you go into this record, we keep track of that time. So if you wanted to do some analysis about how long an enroller spends with an agent, with an employee, and what the outcome of that is, we can give you that data.
Well, I get that, but that doesn't show up on the screen right now, right? Like, in other words, there's nowhere for me to see it right now. That's all being kept somewhere else. Oh, there it is. Okay.
You can, yeah, you can see it right here. Yeah.
Yep. There it is. Okay.
So, so when you drill down, you can see the whole benefit statement. If you click this print button, you can actually see this, and when you see this again, it will actually have the logo for Premiere Process at the top of this, and this is the benefit, summary. And again, it can be emailed, and when it gets emailed, the exact same thing that you would have seen if you hit this print button, you will also see in that email. So the real reason that print button exists there is really for the self-service portal. So if somebody wanted to print it, it's unlikely that an agent would have a printer connected to their machine while they were out in the field. So you get here, and now you have enrolled everyone that or all the products for this case, and you can see here's kind of a mini summary of what happened and the cost. You notice a couple of things have changed. The status has changed to ready to submit. It means that the system has checked out the entire application and has deemed it ready to be submitted to the carrier, meaning that it's all set and ready to go. Over here on the right, you'll see a link that says unenroll. So if an employee came later and said, I changed my mind, this is during the open enrollment period. If an employee said, I changed my mind, then you'd come in here and unenroll them by clicking that unenroll button. If an employee came in and said, I bought accident for me, but I really wanted to buy accident for me and my spouse, you have to unenroll it, to unenroll the original election to enroll the updated election. So you click that unenroll button, and it will saves every single thing that was typed in, and you can go in and edit it. So you don't have, and all the really thing we're going to do when we hit this unenroll. Did I lose you guys?
No, we're here. Sorry.
Okay, good. Okay.
Yeah.
When you hit this unenroll, all we really do is take away the e-signature. Everything else is the same.
Okay.
So here are the rules about unenroll. If you are the agent who enrolled it, you can unenroll it. No one else. Except I'm going to give you a manager's login, and that manager, excuse me, can unenroll it. So only the case manager can unenroll it, and the agent who actually enrolled it can unenroll it. So no one else could come in here and steal this enrollment. Another agent couldn't come in here and unenroll it and sign it for themselves.
Okay. Yeah,
so,
we're not.
So what's...
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So what's going to happen when you click finish is you're going to come to this screen, which is going to be the PioPack payment screen. Right now, we can't connect to it, first of all, because we're on the beta, and second of all, is because we have one more configuration item to do to it. But when you open this, it's going to show you the total amount of the monthly premium that's going to be paid and give you the boxes to fill in for the, we'll pre-populate as much as we can in those boxes for the payment, and then the agent or the employee can enter their ACH or credit card information and then send it to PioPack. And then when you get done doing that, you'll be back to, you can come back to this screen, or you can just exit the enrollment entirely. So you won't have to physically click on payment. It will take you there. When you get here and you see this finish button is going to take you to this payment portal where you can make the payment.
Okay.
And then when you're done making the payment, you can either bounce right out, or you can click this button and it'll bring you back to the search, or you could go to the summary and land there. Question?
Yeah, the unenroll thing you're talking about, how no agent can go in there and kind of do the unenroll thing. What about, like, is there any way that maybe Dan and or myself can get an admin level? Because sometimes, you know, because first of all, no one's being compensated directly from 5-star. It's all being compensated from us anyways. And if someone calls and wants to change something, I don't want to have to try to get into that agent's account necessarily to change something. So is there a way that we can have like an enrollment manager access?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I meant to say it if I didn't say it, but when I give you the usernames and passwords, there'll be a manager's account, so you can log in as a manager. And then when you log in as a manager, you'll be able to unenroll it. What you won't be able to do as a manager is to enroll it for someone else.
Yeah.
So if you're you know, you'll have an agent will have to go in and actually enroll it.
Okay.
Or we can give your manager, you know, a real live writing number. So if your manager has a writing number, we can put the real live writing number in there, and then you will be able to re-enroll it. You'll just be credited to the manager.
Yeah, Dan Jaime should have a writing number. Because again, we don't care about credit or anything, because everything should be. And I'm going to verify this with John, just because I want to make sure. And I understand why they need writing numbers, but I just want to make sure that they're going to process it the right way. But everything should be processed just as Synergy processing it, despite what the writing number is.
Right.
So, but Dan does have a writing number though. So yeah, if we can give Dan that true manager access, so that way if we need to change an enrollment, then he can just do it himself.
Correct. So it's not that we think that, you know, one agent would go in and steal an enrollment from another agent. It's just that we don't leave any question. So no one ever has to say, you know, is it possible?
Yeah, no, I completely understand, and I think it's actually a good system to have in place. It's a good mechanic to have in place, but I just want to make sure that there is a way that basically I don't need to go and try to find this one benefit counselor if they're currently, like, if they're on another enrollment and I need to fix something they've done on this. Or, I mean, sometimes what will happen is someone will have signed up but then call before the enrollment period ends and wants to change something or something like that. It's just a lot easier if we can have some sort of manager or admin level access to take care of that.
Right. So the background logging that's going on in this application is huge, but there's a lot of what we're logging back there that we don't necessarily want to just make it public. But there are some things that you want to know, like who accessed this record. So if you click this access log, it'll show you everyone who's been in this record and when they started and when they left. And then if there was a question, we could give you more information. Oh, I should also mention to you that during your active enrollment, this chat function will be live, and it will be coming to me or whoever is on support at the time. So if there's a question about what's going on with this application and you can't make it do something, or there's a problem, then you can chat live with us. And sometimes we can just, over the live chat, just get you past your problem.
All right, perfect. Yeah, I'm hoping that that's not a necessary, but I do like that you guys have that as well as an option. But this is pretty straightforward, though.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I thought.
I think so too.
That's what I thought, Garrett. I thought you would pick the system up pretty darn quickly.
Okay, I'm going to pause this recording now. If you guys, unless you have more questions.
No, I think we're good.